Welcome to another episode of the Cleaning Lady podcast, and I'm your host, the Cleaning Lady. If you're a cleaning business owner with a team of cleaners working for you, then it's highly likely that you've had at least one complaint over the years. I'm guessing you've had a few more than that. I certainly have. Equally, if you're a self-employed cleaner, then you've likely had complaints as well. But are these clients just being overly fussy? Or is it the cleaner that's doing something wrong? Now, when I first started out on my own, before I had my team of cleaners, I definitely had some complaints, and I'm actually grateful for having those complaints because I wouldn't have known what I was doing wrong. And the complaint that I got the most was about not being very thorough and not moving things when I cleaned. So, of course, I learned how to clean properly after I got those complaints, because the only way you're going to learn and to become a better cleaner is to take on board what the clients say. So, if I'm cleaning a surface, I will just take everything off that surface, clean it, let it dry, put everything back nicely, and then give all the little ornaments and things a little dust as well. So it really is about making a house look as good as it can. Sometimes, though, clients can just be downright fussy, and there is nothing that you can do to please them. They can have the best cleaner in the world and they still won't be happy. I haven't had too many of these clients, but I have had a few. So, as you know, I always go and meet a prospective client for the first time before we start any cleaning for them. And this particular couple that I went to meet lived in this immaculate flat, high ceilings, chandeliers, gold photo frames everywhere. And it was beautiful and not a cushion out of place. And I remember when I got there, they just started slagging off their current cleaner, saying that she was stupid because she didn't know how to clean properly and she obviously couldn't see the dirt, so she must have been blind. And they were just laughing to each other about this cleaner. And I was just thinking, oh my God, who are these people? And he took me on the grand tour of the flat. It was very grand indeed, by the way. Framed, he put his finger along the inside of the framed photo on the wall and he just went, look at that. Would you say that's acceptable? And honestly, there was nothing there. Like, there was nothing there. This place was spotless. Every skirting board, every light switch, there was not a speck of dust anywhere. Then we went into the bathroom and he showed me the shower. In the shower, he got down on his hands and knees and went right into the corner and again put his finger in the corner and he said, look at that. Look at that. That's why we want another cleaner. And I was just thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to compete with this woman. Like, she's obviously excellent. Anyways, I decided that I was not going to inflict these two on my girls, and I certainly wasn't going to put myself through it either, because I could just see that they would be the type of people that would just be on the phone constantly complaining, and I didn't need that. So when I got back to the office, I sent them an email and I just said, I'm really sorry, I'm not going to be able to take you on. I think what you're expecting is more like an end of tenancy style clean each time, and I don't think we're going to be able to help you, and good luck. I really felt that nobody, even the best cleaner in the world, wouldn't have been able to please them. And I think that they probably did have the best cleaner in the world. Apparently she'd been with them for like 8 years or something. And they were just slagging her off. Sometimes I do meet a client and they'll say, oh, I'm just a bit fussy and, I like things done this way or that way. That is absolutely fine. The difference is the people that I spoke about previously, I could just tell that they were going to be an absolute nightmare. We have really, really fussy clients. And as long as they tell me in the beginning what their expectations are, it's absolutely fine. And I've had these clients for years. They've never been rude and it's all going fine. But it is about getting the right match. So matching a client with the cleaner that's best for them. So I'm really lucky because I have a great team of over 40 cleaners and they are all excellent in my opinion. But sometimes you'll get one client who absolutely loves the way that one cleaner will work, but then somebody else will complain about that same cleaner. So a good example of this is one of my girls, Belinda, who is absolutely amazing. And I've never had a single complaint about her, except for this one client who, when Belinda started cleaning for her, she requested another cleaner. And they actually said to me, I thought you said Belinda was one of your best cleaners. And she is one of my best cleaners. So it really is about getting the right match. I've also had people say about one cleaner, oh, she's so thorough. And then another client say, I'd rather not have her back. She's not very thorough. So it really is horses for courses. Then, of course, there are some clients who just seem to like to complain over nothing. Take Joe and Joanne, for example. Not their real names. I have to protect their identities and I don't want to get sued. Joe and Joanne, I could actually do a whole episode on them. Maybe I will one day. They're actually with us for about 4 months. And their first cleaner they complained about because their cleaner, Caroline, hoovered and mopped. Guess what she didn't do? Apparently, she didn't sweep the floor as well. Why would you sweep the floor if you've hoovered? A vacuum cleaner and a broom provide the same function, but you don't use both of them. And, we're not in the 1950s anymore. We're going to use a vacuum cleaner. They're much more thorough and they pick everything up and they don't spray dust everywhere when you're sweeping. The cleaner hoovered and mopped, but forgot to sweep. That was their complaint. Then there was Melanie, who every time her cleaner Sarah went to her house, she always complained afterwards that the floor wasn't very clean. And Sarah was just completely baffled. She said, I don't know what else to do. She said, I've pulled all the furniture out. I've hoovered. I don't know what else to do. Then one day it became apparent what the actual issue was. Sarah called me and she said, you are not going to believe this, but the client is actually here. And she was on her hands and knees inspecting the floor. And I could just imagine the client getting up close and personal to this floor and pulling apart all the fibers of the carpet just to check if there was a little piece of dirt in there. So that's kind of what you have to deal with when you're a cleaner or when you run a cleaning company, because people can be, not very often, but people can be completely crazy fussy. We also had a complaint from a brand new client once who complained that the cleaner had put the dirty cloths in the washing machine. The client had expected her to hang out all the dirty cloths on the line to dry, ready for the next clean. I'm pretty sure that client would have complained if the dirty cloths had been dried on the line, because they would have still been dirty. And I imagine the complaints that I would get from her about the dirty, smeary marks left on her mirrors. Most people already know what they can expect from us as a regular domestic cleaning service. We'll clean the bathroom, the sink, the toilet, the shower screens, the bath. We'll dry everything. We'll hoover and we'll mop all the floors. We'll do the kitchen surfaces. We'll dust and polish, and we'll tidy and make everything look lovely. What we are not is end of tenancy cleaners. We're not deep cleaners, and we are definitely not house detailers. You're going to need a whole day to do a deep clean like that. And you can't fit all of that in within 2 hours. So I recently met a client who had just moved into a rented property, and the letting agents had already carried out the end of tenancy clean prior to her moving in. She asked us for 2 hours a week to clean her house. But before the first clean, she asked if we could take photos so that she could show the letting agent how dirty the flat was. But the problem was there really was nothing to take photos of because it was actually quite clean. So when we did the first clean for this lady, I actually got a phone call from her to say that she wasn't really happy with the clean. And the things that she said that we had missed were the inside of the fridge, the inside of the oven, all the skirting boards, the window frames, the doors, blinds, the walls even. And I just thought, oh my God, this is a really detailed clean that she wants. And we're not going to be able to do all of that in 2 hours. Now, this client wasn't very happy about it and wasn't willing to pay for the extra time. So unfortunately, I did have to let her go. So it really is about managing expectations and explaining to the client what is achievable in the time that you've got. Anyways, happy cleaning, and I'll see you next week.